Hey guys, what is up? Mason here, and welcome back to another episode of So You Wanna Learn Sundays. Today we're going to be looking at the zoom out transition. We covered the zoom in last week, so we're going to go ahead and show you how to zoom out. Just before we jump into Premiere, I just want to say I find this effect works best the opposite way to the zoom in effect. Obviously it's a zoom out. So you want to go from a close-up shot to either a mid shot or a wide shot if you're going to use this effect, kind of to get that nice crispy, the best result you can. So anyway, with that said, let's jump straight into Premiere and I'll show you how this works. So jumping into Premiere, you can see here I've got my shots already on the timeline, my clips. I got this first clip here of somebody's leftovers from a beach bonfire in a nice close-up shot, and then we're zooming out into this nice shot of the beach in kind of quite a wide shot. I've got some grass there too. So what I'm going to do to get the zoom transition underway is I'm going to go ahead and come down to this new item button here, click that and go to adjustment layer. Make sure that your video settings are right for your project. So obviously I'm working in 1920 by 1080 HD, and then my time base is 50 frames per second. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK, and that chucks an adjustment layer into my project bin. So I'm going to click and drag two of these out onto my timeline, and I'm going to go ahead and drop one just here and another one just above it there. Then using the arrow keys on my keyboard, I'm going to go ahead and press down, and that'll take me back to right to my cut. And then using the left arrow key, I'm going to go back about 6 frames. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm just going to click and drag these out to that point. So I've got 6 frames in this direction, and then going back to my cut, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 frames in the other direction. I'm going to go ahead and cut this one and delete that. And then I'm going to cut the bottom adjustment layer so it's cut directly where my transition is going to happen between the two clips. So you've got something that looks like this. So you've got one adjustment layer that's 6 frames long and one adjustment layer that is 12 frames long and transitions between the two clips. So the first thing we need to do is get a nice central image that we can zoom out from. So to do that, we're going to use an effect called Replicate. So if you just come over here to your effects browser and just in the search box, just type in Replicate. I'm going to click and drag that onto our bottom adjustment layer, and that's going to give us 4 panels all with the same video in, which if we play now, we just get 4 versions of the same video. That was a really poor example because it's only 6 frames long. So let me just scrub through and you can see you've got the same video 4 times over. So obviously we don't want 4 frames, we will actually want 9 frames so that we can punch out of that central image. So we're going to go ahead and come over to the effect controls window and just in count change that from 2 to 3. And it's that easy. We've got ourselves 9 frames and a nice central image that we can zoom out from. So the next thing to do is to get rid of these harsh lines that exist between each image. And to do that, we're going to be using an effect called Mirror. So if you come back down to your effects browser, get rid of Replicate and just type in Mirror and click and drag that onto your bottom adjustment layer. It's going to open up these mirror control options. So you've got your reflection center and your reflection angle. So we're actually going to be using the mirror effect 4 times. The first one, we're going to go ahead and type it into our reflection angle. We're going to go 90 degrees. You can see that adds this kind of blurred line in the middle. So using the reflection center adjustment, we're going to go ahead and bring this down till you see that harsh line appear, and come back just to the point where it's gone. Right about there looks pretty good. Then we're going to go ahead and click and drag mirror again, and doing the same thing, but this time we're going to go ahead and type in -90, and then we'll drag up until we see that line, and then come back down right to the point where the line vanishes. Right about that looks good. We're going to do it a 3rd time, and this time you can just go ahead and leave this one at 0 degrees. It doesn't matter if you have the reflection angle of 0 or 360 degrees, they're both the same. So we're going to go ahead and drag this one across right to the point where it meets just there. It looks pretty good. And then one last time we're going to drag the mirror effect across and add a reflection angle of 180 degrees, and this one will make your screen go black, but don't panic, have no fear. We're going to go ahead and drag this one across all the way until we see that line and just drop it right in there. Oh, not quite. Change that one to 640. There we go. So now you can see we've got this nice central image that's actually unchanged, and these mirrored versions all around, generating this kind of kaleidoscope of generating sort of this kaleidoscope of the image that we shot. So the next step is to zoom out of this image. So in order to do that, we're going to be doing essentially the opposite of what we did with the zoom in transition. We're going to be using our top adjustment layer. We're going to add an effect called transform. So we're going to go ahead and type that into our, if I could spell, type that into our effects window, and you've got here distort transform. So we're going to go ahead and click and drag that onto our top adjustment layer, and then come to the beginning of that adjustment layer. And we've got all of these options, and I know that looks like quite a lot. Don't panic, it's really not that complicated. So we're going to be using the scale attribute here. We're going to go ahead and click the stopwatch to toggle animation for scale, and we're going to change this to 300%. So we've got just our shot and not all the other frames. That's at the beginning of this adjustment layer. Then we're going to go to the end of the adjustment layer and change it to 100%. And then what you've got is this zoom out. Now if I play this through, it's gonna not look that great, to be honest, because we haven't added any motion blur or anything like that, so it's just gonna look like the two clips zoom out of each other, and it's a bit Windows Movie Maker, not gonna lie, it's a little bit Windows Movie Maker. So to combat that, come back to your top adjustment layer, scroll all the way down to where it says shutter angle, and you want to uncheck this use composition shutter angle box, change this to anywhere upwards of 300 is usually pretty good, so I would say 300 up to 360 degrees, and what that does is just add some motion blur to your animation and makes it a little bit less Windows Movie Maker, more Premiere Pro, and just, you know, makes it look a little bit crispier, a little bit nicer. Everybody likes that nice whoosh, nice smooth transition. So what the last step you can take, and I'd recommend doing this, it really does make a huge difference, is if you come down to the scale keyframes, click this little arrow, and you get a velocity setting for your clip. Now what you're going to want to do is go ahead and click on the left keyframe and set that to ease out, and click on your right keyframe and set that to ease in, and what you get then is a bit of a different kind of speed ramp on that zoom out, makes it a little bit nicer to look at. The last thing you can do is you can come to this velocity curve down here and you can adjust that, but you want to be careful because you can make it look a bit unnatural, but I think right about there looks pretty good, and I'm pretty happy with that. So the last thing I would recommend is sound. Sound with these transitions is so important. Go online and look up some whooshes, some whoosh sound effects. Peter McKinnon's got a great pack. I think Austin Newman has as well. I'll be sure, if I can find them both, I will link them down in the description, but go and check them out. They transform transitions like this one, make it 10 times better. Sound design is so important when you're thinking about editing. So if I can find them, I will link them down in the description, and you should go and check them out. They're very, very, very cheap for what they are. These guys put a lot of work into them, so, you know, go and show your support, go and get them, because they will improve your footage 10 times over. Anyway guys, that is all from me. I really hope you guys liked this video. If you did absolutely dig it, go ahead, hit the like button, it's right there. Hit the subscribe button, it's right next to it. We're about 2 subscribers away from 50, which is crazy, and is halfway to the target that I'm trying to achieve for the end of the year, which is 100 subscribers by the end of 2018. So if you do go ahead, click either of those buttons, they really help the channel out. Go ahead, leave me some comments. I love to interact with you guys. If you do use this transition, please feel free to send me a message on Instagram, send me a message on Twitter, or just tweet it at me. I'm at _Mason Summers on both of the platforms. So yeah, hit me up. I hope you guys use this, and I really appreciate you guys swinging by. Take it easy, and I will be back with a regular vlog on Tuesday. Peace.